Somewhere in a private hangar in Salzburg, Austria, a ground crew is hand-polishing the nose of a World War II bomber while twin radial engines warm up outside. The fuel bill alone runs into 5 figures. The maintenance contract costs more annually than most people earn in the decade. And the man paying for all of it could have bought a super yacht instead. He chose this. These aren't museum pieces behind velvet ropes. These are living, breathing warbirds, fully airworthy, regularly flown and kept alive at extraordinary personal expense by some of the wealthiest people on Earth. The question isn't just how much it costs. The question is why a billionaire looks at a 1944 killing machine and decides it's worth every dollar. Start with the numbers, because they are genuinely staggering. Maintaining a single airworthy World War II fighter costs between $300,000 and $600,000 per year, when you account for parts, labor, fuel, insurance, and storage. A bomber, anything with multiple engines, doubles or triples that figure. A jet-powered warbird from the early Cold War era pushes costs into 7 figures annually, and that's before a single major overhaul. Rebuilt radial engines for aircraft like the P-51 Mustang or the Corsair run between $80,000 and $150,000 per engine. Junkers. Jumo turbojet rebuilds for a Me-260 are a custom engineering project with no fixed price ceiling. The Red Bull Flying Bulls operate out of Salzburg with a fleet that includes a B-25 Mitchell, a P-38 Lightning, a Hawker Sea Fury, a Lockheed P-38, and one of the only airworthy chance-fought F4U Corsairs still flying regular F4U Corsairs still flying regular airshow schedules. The Corsair's Pratt & Whitney R28.5 double wasp engine produces 2,450 horsepower. At full throttle, it burns through fuel at a rate that makes modern jet ownership look economical. The Flying Bulls don't just display these aircraft. They fly them hard, publicly, and on a schedule that demands every airframe remain in perfect operational condition year-round. The annual operating budget for the entire fleet is not publicly disclosed, but industry estimates place it well north of $10 million. Dietrich Mateschitz, who built Red Bull into a $16 billion company, funded every cent of it until his death in 2022. The fleet continues to fly. Paul Allen spent even more. His flying heritage and combat armor collection in Everett, Washington, housed operational examples of aircraft most aviation historians had written off as gone forever. A fully airworthy Focke-Wulf FW-190A, a flying Messerschmitt Bv-109A, a flying Messerschmitt Bf-109, and the crown of the collection, a restored flying Messerschmitt Me-262, the world's first operational jet fighter, powered by twin Junkers Jumo 04 turbojets, producing 1,980 pounds of thrust each and capable of 559 miles per hour. No original Me-262 had flown under its own power in decades before Allen's project brought one back. The restoration required manufacturing components from original Luftwaffe blueprints, sourcing period, correct materials, and building an engineering team capable of working on technology that the aviation industry had abandoned 60 years earlier. Estimates for that single aircraft's restoration exceed $2 million. Allen called it the most important private aviation project of his generation. The reason men like Allen and Mateschitz spend this kind of money isn't nostalgia in the soft, sentimental sense. It's something closer to obligation. These aircraft represent the peak of human engineering achieved under absolute pressure, designed and built during years when losing the technological edge meant losing the war. Every rivet in a P-51 Mustang exists because someone calculated that it needed to be exactly there to hold an airframe together at 437 miles per hour while taking ground fire over occupied Europe. That's not history you can read in a book and fully understand. You have to hear the Merlin engine roll over at dawn. You have to feel the airframe shake as it climbs through 10,000 feet. Then you understand what was at stake. The billionaires who fund these restorations aren't buying trophies. They're buying continuity. The unbroken line between the engineers who designed these machines, the pilots who flew them into combat, and the generations who will never otherwise know what that era actually sounded like. When that Corsair lifts off a runway in Salzburg and the double wasp opens up to full power, the sound carries for miles. It costs a fortune to produce. It's